All right, let's talk about one of the most epic adventure stories of all time. We're diving into Jules Verne's masterpiece, a crazy, high-stakes race against the clock, around the world in 80 days. Let's get into it. So first up, you've got to meet our main guy, Phileas Fogg. Picture this. It's London, 1872, and this man's life is run by a stopwatch. I mean, everything is timed, down to the second. Breakfast at 8:23 sharp. Off to his club at exactly 11:30. Every single day is a carbon copy of the last. Super predictable, right? Well, that's all about to change. And this is the number that blows his whole routine to bits. 20,000 pounds. You have to understand, back in 1872, that was an absolutely insane amount of money. We're talking a life-changing fortune. And he's about to risk every last penny of it on a bet that sounds completely impossible. And it all starts with this one single sentence. He's at his club with his buddies, and he just casually drops it. You can go around the world in 80 days. Just like that. His perfectly scheduled, totally predictable life, gone. Shattered. Of course, his friends think he's lost his mind, but Fogg, he's dead serious. The bet is on, and the clock starts ticking. That very night. Okay, so Fogg and his poor, bewildered new servant, Passepartout, are literally out the door. But here's the thing. From the second they leave, they're not just racing against time. Nope, they've got someone on their tail, and they're about to meet some very unexpected travel companions. And just like that, the race is on. Their first leg takes them from London to Suez, and you can just feel the tension. Remember, Fogg's entire fortune is on the line. He has to be back in his club by 8:45 p.m. on December 21st, not a minute later. That 80-day countdown has officially begun. Now, what's a good adventure without an antagonist, right? Enter Detective Fix. See, right before Fogg leaves, there's a massive bank robbery in London. So when Fix sees this rich English guy suddenly tearing across the globe with a bag full of cash, well, you can see how he'd connect the dots. He becomes totally convinced Fogg is his man and starts chasing him, just waiting for the chance to slap on the handcuffs. But this journey isn't just about catching trains and steamships. Not at all. Over in India, things take a serious turn. Fogg and Passepartout stumble upon a young woman, Mrs. Aouda, who's in terrible, terrible danger. And Fogg, the man who lives by the clock, doesn't even hesitate. He throws his schedule out the window and risks the entire bet to save her. From that moment on, she's with them, a loyal friend for the rest of the wild ride. All right, this is where the action really ramps up. We're talking about a world of obstacles. It feels like the entire globe is conspiring against them. It's one thing after another, and every single challenge is designed to test Fogg's legendary cool-headedness and his genius for problem-solving. Okay, so check this out. First big problem. They're in the middle of India, and the train tracks just end. The railway literally isn't finished. So does our guy Fogg freak out? Not a chance. His solution? Simple. Obvious, really. He buys an elephant. I'm not kidding. He just hires an elephant and a guide to march them through the jungle. Problem solved. And you thought that was wild? Wait till they get to America. The Wild West is even crazier. First, their train has to go full throttle over a bridge that's literally falling apart. They just barely make it across. And then they get attacked by a Sioux war party and Passepartout gets captured. So now Fogg has to make a choice. Save his friend, or win the bet. And again, he doesn't even think twice. He puts the bet on hold and leads the rescue party himself. And all the while, don't forget about Detective Fix. He's like this constant shadow, always trying to sabotage them. He's playing dirty, too. In Hong Kong, he gets poor Passepartout drunk so they miss their ship. He's always one step behind them, trying to cause delays, trying to stop them from catching their connections. His whole plan is to keep Fogg moving until they get back to British territory, where his arrest warrant will finally be valid. So they've made it across Asia, they've survived America, but now it's down to the wire. This last leg, a frantic race across the Atlantic, is the most desperate part of the entire trip. That deadline is looming, and the massive Atlantic Ocean is the last thing standing in their way. And, of course, nothing goes smoothly. They get to New York and they've missed the boat to Liverpool. Any normal person would give up, not Fogg. Here's what he does. First, he finds a grubby cargo boat. Then, he basically bribes the crew to mutiny and take him to Liverpool instead. And when the boat runs out of fuel in the middle of the ocean, he starts buying the ship from the captain, piece by piece, just so he can chop up the wooden parts and burn them to keep the engine going. I mean, the sheer willpower of this guy is just wow. They finally make it. They land in Liverpool with just hours to spare. They can still make it to London, but the second Phileas Fogg sets foot on English ground, it all comes crashing down. Detective Fix is there, waiting, and he arrests him on the spot. It's an absolute disaster. I mean, can you even imagine? You've literally gone around the entire planet. You've fought off every obstacle imaginable, and now you're sitting in a jail cell, so close to the finish line you can taste it. The clock is just taking away those final hours, and for the first time in his life, the master of precision, Phileas Fogg, can't do a single thing about it. It's over. He's lost. The bet, the fortune, everything. It's gone. But wait, in a story this incredible, you just know there has to be a twist, right? All that time, Fogg has been fighting the clock. It's been his biggest enemy. But what if time wasn't the enemy? What if time itself was the answer all along? Suddenly, Fix comes rushing in. Turns out they caught the real bank robber. Fogg is innocent. He's free. But it looks like it's too late. He gets back to London, checks the time, and he's 5 minutes late. He's defeated. Or is he? And here it is, the big reveal, the beautiful, brilliant twist. By traveling constantly eastward, he was chasing the sun. He was literally shortening his days. And over the course of the journey, all those saved minutes added up. He crossed the international dateline and actually gained a full day. He has no idea. He thinks he lost. It's Passepartout who figures it out. He's sent to arrange things for what they think is the next day. But he realizes it's not Sunday. It's Saturday, December 21st. They haven't missed the deadline at all. In fact, the deadline is in just a few minutes. They have to go now. So they race to the club, and at the very last second, literally as the clock is about to strike 8:45 and his friends are ready to claim their prize, the door opens. In walks Phileas Fogg, cool as a cucumber. He has won. You know, he went into this whole thing betting on winning £20,000. But look at what he actually won. It wasn't just money. He got the adventure of a lifetime, he discovered a resourcefulness he never knew he had, and most importantly, he found love. In the end, after all the expenses, the money he won barely even covered the cost of the trip. But that didn't matter. Because his real prize, the thing that truly made him the richest man in the world, was Mrs. Aduda. The woman whose life he saved ends up being the person who saves him from his lonely, routine existence. He won the bet, sure, but he got something so much better. And that's really the question the story leaves us with, isn't it? Phileas Fogg had this perfect, orderly, predictable life. And it took shattering that routine, embracing total chaos, for him to find real happiness. It really makes you think, what's the actual point of any journey? Is it about getting to where you're going? Or is it about who you become because of all the unexpected things that happen to you on the way?